Hello folks, Andrew Torba here, co-founder and CEO of Gab. We've got some very fake news here from the Los Angeles Times. Hilarious how they don't even try to hide what type of narrative they're trying to push. Trying to make it look like alt tech is literally Hitler. As you can see, we have the Ku Klux Klan meeting here as their header image. Squeezed out by Silicon Valley, the far right is creating its own corporate world. And you gotta love the imagery that we're using here of the KKK, because we're just all terrible people, right? We're all just terrible people because we want to support free speech and individual liberty and the free flow of information on the internet. Mr. Matt Pierce, you're a piece of garbage. You're not a journalist. You're a little propaganda pawn is what you are. Anyway, so we go into this article here, and the first thing he writes about, of course, neo-Nazis and white nationalists and whine, paint your narrative of us all being just terrible, evil people, bringing up, of course, neo-Nazi websites and trying to associate all of us together here. So anyway, getting down to the part where Gab is mentioned, we see that he's painting this narrative of, on Tuesday, one of the site's most popular posts was an image that said, "I love being white." Oh no, not that. That's terrible. It's terrible to love yourself. It's terrible to express love for your own people. That's just such a terrible thing. And you'll notice that he also doesn't cite the post at all. He doesn't link to it, nothing. It's just his word. You're going to have to just believe him on that one, right? So anyway, then he starts to quote me and pull some of my quotes. I love that he included this one. The reality is that hate speech is free speech, Torba added, citing a U.S. Supreme Court precedent. Absolutely right, damn right. And you're damn right that you link to that precedent from the U.S. Supreme Court as well. You piece of garbage, fake news journalist. So anyway, he continues to outline some of the other alt-tech people and alt-tech companies and what we're building, and again, trying to paint this narrative that we're all just evil, terrible Nazis. And I'll tell you why this is happening. The reason that this is happening is because traditional old media, garbage, trash, shill, bloggers, political activist bloggers, they can't call themselves journalists anymore. They're political activist bloggers. They write opinion pieces to push a narrative that they're told to push. And that's just the reality of the situation. They are terrified. And Silicon Valley is utterly terrified that the populist movement is waking up and starting to build their own platforms, their own products, their own communities outside of the little ideological echo filter bubble that Silicon Valley has created. They are utterly terrified of this. Why? Because it means they're not going to have control anymore. They're not going to have power anymore. And this is really only the beginning. Just wait until the blockchain revolutionizes everything and decentralizes control across all of the internet. All of it. From finance to social networking to all of communication, everything is going to be decentralized. And Silicon Valley should be terrified of this. Because instead of having centralized control on one man, Mark Zuckerberg, one single man, majority voting shares in Facebook, controls, owns, operates, oversees the data, the most intimate and personal data of over 2 billion people around the world. One man, one person you trust with this, right? Instead of that, it's going to be decentralized, and the power is going to be put in the hands of the people. It's going to be more transparent, it's going to be more open, and it's going to be decentralized across the globe. And there is nothing that Silicon Valley can do to stop this. Nothing that they can do to stop it. This is only wave one. This is only phase one of the alt-tech revolution that is about to unfold right now. And the LA Times is just terrified of this. And they should be. Because guess what? When's the last time you bought a newspaper? Ask yourself that. When's the last time you paid for a paywall behind the New York Times or the LA Times? their subscription numbers are garbage. They're nowhere near the level that Facebook's at, or that Twitter's at, or that social media propels stories and information and news and communication. They will never be on that level. Their time has passed. They are old media. We are new media, and it's going to be completely people-powered. And they're terrified of that. They're terrified of not controlling the narrative. They're terrified of not having the trust of the people anymore, because they're liars. Let's just face it, they're liars and they're shills and they're political activists. It's not journalism anymore. The real journalists are people like you and me that hop on and do a live stream and tell it how it is and report the facts and investigate and seek truth. That's what journalism actually is. Not forcing a narrative, a political narrative on people because it fits your ideological belief or the ideological belief of your paper. Okay? So, anyway, if you want to go check out the article, feel free, but it's basically, they're all a bunch of racists and neo-Nazis and literally Hitler. Ree! That's basically what the article is. It's a joke. That narrative is so old and so boring. None of those words even mean anything anymore. It's sad because, at one point those words actually did hold meaning. Calling somebody a racist, calling them a bigot. But the left, especially the far left, has used those words in such a broad, generalistic sweep across tens of millions of people that, sadly, they've made those words mean nothing anymore. And people don't buy it when they group, these people, in our case, alternative technology platforms that simply want to defend the freedom of speech, the free flow of information on the internet, these liberties that we love and enjoy. When you try to paint that as, oh, they're Nazi, they're fascist, isn't that the exact opposite? Like, Nazis and fascists typically aren't going to support free and open discussion, free and open speech, right? That's typically not how it works, at least historically anyway. So these people can keep whining, they can keep calling us racist and Nazis and whatever the hell they want to call us. It doesn't have any impact on us, right? It doesn't, because the people know our character, they know what we're doing, they see what we're building, and they're waking up. And once people take the red pill, there's no going back, right? You don't just go back into the matrix and fall back asleep when you're awakened, right, to the truth and to how things really are and to how things need to be. We're going to continue to call it out. We've had dozens of engineers, product managers, executives, investors in Silicon Valley reach out to us and say, you guys are building something great. How can we help? We're 100% behind what you're saying, what James is saying in his manifesto, but we can't say it ourselves, right? Because we're afraid that we're going to get fired too, and we're going to lose our livelihoods or, have our portfolio companies turn on us or whatever. So, we're creating an underground coalition, a private invite-only community of people that have been extremely vetted and that care about the alternative technology movement, that care about defending the freedoms and forcing change inside of these Silicon Valley companies, whatever it takes. People that are brave, have courage, and want to fight for these liberties that are under attack. They're under attack, folks. Make no mistake about it. We've also raised, this week alone, about $86,000. Just since, I believe, Monday, right? For a total of over $486,000 raised, not from venture capitalists in Silicon Valley, not from the 1%, from normal, everyday, working class people who see what we're saying, who see the censorship going on from Silicon Valley, who see the double standards, and who want to fight back and want to join us in defending the liberties and the freedoms that we all love. If you're interested in that, go to startengine.com/startup/gab, and you can invest, and you can join us on this journey to building a community and a product that people love, where you can be yourself and express yourselves without fear of being banned or censored for wrong think. We are building something completely different that is going to take Silicon Valley and the rest of the tech world by storm. And it's going to happen fast, right? It's going to happen real fast, and we're going to win bigly. Because you have no idea, Silicon Valley, just how many of your employees agree with James's Google Manifesto, how many of your employees agree with what we're saying and what we're building, and the stuff that we're calling out. You have no idea what's coming. You have no idea. We're going to win so big, and it's going to be one hell of a good time. If you want to join us on this journey, go to startengine.com/startup/gab. Thank you for tuning in, folks, and remember to speak freely.